God of all new beginnings, I come before you now in the hush of early light, my soul yearning for the gentle reassurance that only you can provide. Another dawn has arrived, another testament to the constancy of your love. And as I stir from sleep, I feel in my chest an ache for closeness with you, a need to align my heart with your unshakable presence. I cannot predict what this day will hold. It might brim with tasks demanding my energy, emotions that press against my peace, or unforeseen challenges testing my resolve. Yet I remind myself that even the smallest breath I take is a gift from your hand, each beat of my heart a note in the grand symphony you're composing for my life. It is with this perspective that I choose to place this entire day under your lordship, seeking your guidance, cherishing your comfort, and offering my thanks in advance for your unspoken mercies. I recall the words of Psalm 143, verse 8. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Let that verse sink into my spirit, letting me greet this new dawn as a letter from heaven proclaiming your steadfast devotion. There is a warmth in those words, a promise that no matter how restless the night or how weighty my burdens, the morning can still testify to love that does not waver. Let me stand on that promise so that if I confront difficulties later, I do so with a heart anchored in the memory of your unfailing nature. If I share this prayer with someone else, perhaps they too will find solace in the knowledge that your love greets us each sunrise like a hopeful companion, eager to mend the cracks in our weary minds. I also cling to Lamentations 3:22 through 23, which affirms that your mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning, great is your faithfulness. It's an echo of that same message. Each day is a fresh opportunity for me to lean into your grace, unbound by the regrets of yesterday or the anxieties of tomorrow. Some days I wrestle with shame over past mistakes, words I wish I could retract, chances I wish I'd taken, illusions I wish hadn't stolen my peace. But as the sunlight stretches across the horizon, I remember that you do not hold my failures over me. You extend forgiveness and renewal as freely as the air I breathe. That awareness can shift my posture from one of defeat to one of hopeful perseverance, stepping forward under the banner of your never-failing mercy. If there's a friend drowning in guilt or regret, let me share these truths so they might see that each sunrise is a living metaphor of your fresh compassion. Lord, I also dwell on the verse in Matthew 6:33, urging me to seek first your kingdom and righteousness, trusting that all else will follow. In a world that often pushes me to chase illusions of security through possessions, status, or the praise of others, this gentle command is both refreshing and challenging. Sometimes I worry about finances, about my relationships, about the swirling future that never feels fully within reach. Yet you whisper, seek me first. Let your heart rest in what I desire. Keep your eyes on the eternal, not on fleeting fixes. That perspective reorients me, reminding me that if my day is structured around your love, your will, your principles of kindness, your humility, then I need not be consumed with anxiety over lesser concerns. By embracing your kingdom priorities, I open the way for you to shape every dimension of my life. In that shaping, I find liberation from the treadmill of worldly demands. When I consider the tasks that await me, from mundane chores to significant decisions, I recall Psalm 37, verse 5, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Let me commit each portion of this day into your hands. My morning rituals, my interactions with colleagues, my responsibilities to loved ones, even my moments of leisure. In committing them to you, I invite your wisdom, believing that you will intervene in the details, often in ways I might overlook. If frustration arises, I can pause, breathe, and silently reaffirm that I have committed this day to you, that I do not walk through frustrations without a guiding presence. This approach can revolutionize my attitude, turning impatience into patient trust. Should I see a neighbor on the edge of stress or meltdown, I might share the idea of this devotion, saying, there's a way to commit our daily steps to one who never sleeps, never ceases to care. I also reflect on Philippians 4:6-7, which exhorts me not to be anxious, but to present my request to you with thanksgiving. thereby receiving peace that transcends understanding. That verse resonates with me each morning, for anxiety can creep in the second my alarm rings. There might be deadlines or news headlines that cast a shadow, or personal heartaches that keep tapping on my consciousness. But here in your presence, I sense a hush that whispers, lay these worries before me. Name them, hold them up, then let them go. If I do so, your peace, a peace that defies logic, can envelop my mind like a warm cloak. Let me adopt that posture daily so that anxiety doesn't become my default. Instead, let the default be the practice of surrender, the turning of every worry into a conversation with you. This approach can be so life-altering that I want to share it, especially with a friend or sibling who feels paralyzed by stress or dread, offering them the same invitation to pray their worries into your safe hands. God, I also consider how Jesus himself, in Mark 1:35, woke early, departing to a solitary place to pray. If even the Son of God saw value in quiet communion with you at dawn, I can glean how crucial this practice is. It's not about earning a gold star for piety. It's about acknowledging that a day anchored in your presence is a day less dominated by fear, less swayed by ephemeral distractions. By following Christ's example, I set a pattern in my life that recognizes your sovereignty from the outset, fueling me with humility and confidence at once. If I must choose between an extra half hour of sleep or a time of prayerful reflection, let me choose prayer, trusting that your Spirit will energize me more profoundly than fleeting rest. And if I find someone else curious about how to handle the rush of life, let me mention how Jesus himself prioritized these morning prayers, how he showed that no busyness or pressing crowd of obligations can overshadow the need to connect with you. Sometimes I wrestle with the sense that my life lacks direction or deep meaning, especially when daily routines become monotonous or fruitless in appearance. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds me that you hold plans for my welfare, to give me a future filled with hope, not harm. So in this prayer, I dare to ask for glimpses of that future, for clarity in the small tasks that might lead me closer to your dream for my life. If monotony dulls my sense of wonder, reawaken it, letting me see each moment as a stepping stone, each conversation as an opportunity to share kindness or glean wisdom, each challenge as a refining fire, shaping me into a vessel that can hold your grace more expansively. Let me walk in that confidence. And if a friend confesses they feel aimless, let me share the comfort of knowing a God who orchestrates all threads of our story into a tapestry we only partially see. I reflect too on 2 Timothy 1:7, stating, "You have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control." Mornings can bring apprehension. Will I be enough for what the day demands? Will I handle adversity with grace, or will I crumble? But your spirit within me stands as a reservoir of power, enabling me to surpass the limitations I impose on myself. Let me greet each difficulty as a chance to demonstrate love that defies my normal capacity, to practice self-control where impulses might otherwise lead me astray. This power is not from me alone. It's the flame of your Spirit, a testament that I am never left alone to figure it all out. If I find a coworker trembling at a daunting assignment, I might share how leaning on your Spirit transforms trembling hearts into channels of courage and wisdom. Lord, I think of the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5:22-23. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, and how a day begun in your presence nurtures these qualities. If I rush into tasks without communion, I notice how easily negativity creeps in, how quickly anger flares or joy dissipates. But if I soak in your word, your promises, and your character, I realize I can face the day's friction with a gentler spirit, a compassion that sees beyond people's rough edges. Let me intentionally cultivate these fruits, and if at midday I catch myself veering off course, I can whisper a reminder that your Spirit abides in me, longing to bear fruit that testifies to your nature. That shift might prompt me to apologize if I spoke harshly, to offer help to someone struggling, or to pray for those who annoy me instead of resenting them. This transformation is a constant process, One reason I might share the prayer with others, so that they too can see how meeting with you each dawn reshapes character in a profound way. In the hush of morning reflection, I also recall that you call me salt and light in Matthew 5:13-16. Salt that preserves goodness in a decaying world, light that dispels shadows. Let me not underestimate the significance of my presence in my home, workplace, or community. Even if I feel small or overshadowed by more influential voices, I am not inconsequential in your kingdom. A day lived in your radiant presence can become a beacon for those weighed down by gloom. Let me choose words that encourage, acts that reflect generosity, attitudes that foster unity. If negativity surges around me, I can be the calm center, grounded in prayer. That is reason enough to share these devotions or to speak words of faith. We become carriers of your perspective, injecting hope into despairing corners. I also remember Psalm 23:1, that with you as my shepherd, I shall not want. Fear of scarcity often grips me, fear that I lack resources or time, that I'll fail to meet obligations, that others might surpass me, leaving me behind. Yet your word insists you are a shepherd who ensures my deepest needs are tended. This does not exempt me from trials, but it reassures me that none of my hungers, be they emotional or physical, escape your notice. Let me step into the day with that quiet assurance. If a friend confides in me their sense of lack or emptiness, let me remind them that the Good Shepherd stands ready to fill their emptiness with purpose, calm their racing thoughts, and guide them to green pastures of renewal. This is how we share the blessing of devotion, by testifying to how it infuses our own days with calm purpose. We invite others into the same gentle morning light. Because the day might bring adversity, I find myself clinging to James 1:2-4, urging me to consider it joy when facing trials, knowing it produces endurance, leading to maturity. This verse might feel counterintuitive. Who welcomes trials with joy? Yet if I perceive each challenge as a forge refining me, my attitude transforms. Let me approach adversity not with defeat, but with the mindset that through it, you shape perseverance, empathy, and deeper faith. If I see a friend or coworker battered by unforeseen troubles, I can share that adversity does not have to define them. Rather, it can serve as a stepping stone to deeper trust in your sustaining grace. By framing hardships this way, we collectively find purpose in the pain, an anchor of meaning that wards off despair. God, I also hold on to the words of 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18, which call me to rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all circumstances. That triple command can shape my day. Let me rejoice in the small wonders of the morning, perhaps the soft sky streaked with pink, the chirping of a bird reminding me life still sings, the quiet hush that envelops me as I pray. Let me carry a spirit of ongoing prayer throughout the tasks that will unfold, so that when I sense frustration or sadness creeping in, I respond with a brief communion with you. Let me express gratitude not just for major blessings, but also for the gift of breath, the kindness of a stranger, or the glimmer of progress in a seemingly stuck situation. Such a posture of rejoicing, praying, and giving thanks can become my shield against cynicism or bitterness. If I find someone lost in negativity, let me gently share how daily devotion fosters a heart that sees beyond the fleeting struggles. As I near the end of this morning communion with you, I think about sharing these words because many might greet the dawn burdened by the unknown. By passing along this devotion, I can remind them, and myself, that you remain the same faithful Father who parted seas, fed hungry multitudes, comforted the grieving, and still offers your steadfast presence each new day. The synergy of hearts united in morning prayer can ripple across communities, offices, or online spaces, creating a wave of hope that counters the gloom saturating much of life's news. Because indeed your word declares in Romans 12:12 that we can be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer, no matter what the day holds. If someone we know stands at the brink of giving up, a piece of this prayer could be the lifeline they need to remember that dawn truly does bring fresh mercies. Lord, I speak amen, not as a conclusion of relationship, but as an affirmation that I carry this prayer with me. I open my eyes to the tasks and people waiting for me, but my spirit remains aligned with your heart. Let this alignment shape my words, my decisions, my posture, infusing even mundane routines with the light of your presence. If troubles greet me, I shall recall your word in Joshua 1:9, urging me to be strong and courageous. For you are with me wherever I go. And if the day yields unexpected blessings, I shall respond with humility, acknowledging that every good and perfect gift descends from above. James 1:17. Thus I greet this morning with a mixture of humility and anticipation, believing that in your love I find the wellspring of all I need: joy, peace, resilience, and compassion for others. Yes, dear God, that is how I start this day, with a trembling yet hopeful soul, bearing witness to your unwavering faithfulness, sure that your grace outlasts any storm. In that trust I rest, in that trust I walk, in that trust I share these reflections with others who might also yearn for the comforting arms of dawn's gentle promise. Amen.